Good morning. My name is Kyle Hinton, and I'm a therapist here in the Grand Rapids area. And today I'd like to share the stress threat response sequence with you. The stress threat response sequence is our physiological defense system. And in our stress threat response sequence, there are 7 steps. And I'm going to share those 7 steps with you through the reenactment of a client script. And my typical client that walks through the doors is between the ages of about 18 and 35. He's a young man of color and he lives in an urban area. And so his story starts off with something along the lines of I was driving down the street, and as I'm driving my car down the street, I'm just cruising, listening to my music and enjoying my music. And as I'm driving, all of a sudden, an enormity of lights just flood my vehicle. And as I look into my rearview mirror, I notice that the police are behind me. And all of a sudden, I have this feeling of clear and present danger. And with that, I am feeling that first step. I'm arrested and I'm startled as a result of that. And within milliseconds, I start scanning and evaluating. And that is the second step, being that my threat receptor, which is referred to as my amygdala, is giving me 3 options. It is saying run, fight, or freeze. And so, with that, I'm going right into the third step because I decide to run. And so I'm running, and my body starts to mobilize. And with that, the blood flow from my brain, from my neurocortex, goes down into my extremities. And while I become less smart, I become stronger. And so with that mobilization, my sympathetic nervous system is aroused. And so that's the dopamine within my system, that's the adrenaline, the cortisol, the epinephrine starts to just flood my system, and I feel this enormity of strength. And I just really just start driving away, and I actually get away from the police. I run from the police. And with that, my body goes into that fourth step, the completion of the self protective response, where I get this overwhelming feeling that I've gotten away from the predator and I feel successful. And as I feel this sense of success, my body goes into the fifth step, which is the discharge of energy. So the adrenaline, the cortisol, the epinephrine, the dopamine starts to balance itself out. And so with that, my mind tells me that again, I have fought off the predator, and so my fight or flight processes start to even out a bit. And then I go into the sixth step, and that's my relaxation response step. And so, with that, my body starts to regain its composure. My parasympathetic nervous system starts to regain itself, whereas my heart rate starts to slow down. My muscles start to decrease as far as the tension is concerned. My body goes into a state of more homeostasis, if you will, and I start to rest, relax, and restore. And as my body just continues that process, I go into the seventh step, which is the sense of mastery. I've gotten away. The predator has not consumed me. And so those are the steps that young men go through, especially if they have had some prior contact with what they would perceive as the predator, which is the police. And so a person who has not had that same sense of background, if you will, their response would be much different. But because